Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto Travel to Hashirama's Time. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in social media platform. And also, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto was trying to learn how to control this bloodline of his, as they had to stop though because the war started back up, and the Uzumakis were brought on the field as well, because the Senjus needed their help. As the battle started to rage, Naruto tried his best to not kill anyone, as he wanted to find a way to subdue them without killing them. As he was trying his best by knocking them out, but every time they would just get back up and keep on fighting and slaughtering more Senjus and even Uzumakis. As he was deep in his thought, he did not notice the man coming behind him, as they had to lock off their sensory ability because out here the emotions were just running wild, and it was hard for any Uzumakis to keep their sensory ability on while this was going on. So at the moment, Naruto currently had to ease off, as Takashi had to rush in front of Naruto and he stabbed the one that was going to end Naruto's life, but he got stabbed as well right through the chest, through the heart. But Takashi managed to strike down the man. As the other one came, as Naruto struck him down, he rushed towards Takashi. As he realized Takashi was dead, he lost it. He lost himself completely into the rage. As Kurama took over, Kurama wanted to kill Hashirama and Madara as well. But the Uzumakis managed to subdue him, and Hashirama used his wood style to siphon off the power of the fox and calm Naruto down. When Naruto woke up, he was in a mindscape as he was pissed off at Kurama for trying to take over his body. As Kurama told him the reason why he hated Hashirama and why he wanted to kill him and Madara. Those people use his kinds like tools, especially Hashirama, who track all of them down and place them into Jinjurikis. And Naruto should feel the same way because he's one of them as well, being scorned and hated when he was a child. As Naruto felt bad, he made Kurama promise there and then that he would make sure the Jinjurikis are never created. He would make sure the Biju's room safe. Kurama told him if he completed that project, only then will he cooperate with him, as Naruto made him a promise. Naruto was still stuck in the barriers. He wondered if it was a test, if they want him to come out or not. But he stayed in there for a very long while until he started to hear the creaks of the barrier, the lightning off of it, as he ended up placing his own barrier as well, nearly killing himself in the process, as Mito schooled him and the others. As he had to explain, he didn't explain anything about the future, but he told them that his village was attacked by a group, and the group used this beast to attack his village. So his father had to use his life as a sacrifice and seal the beast inside of him. The others understood, but they had to take Naruto off of anything working towards the field right now. As a clan head, say that Naruto will stay here and work as a blacksmith at the moment. As a Senju clan head want to know why didn't they make him just fight and harness his power. But the Uzumakis were family, and if they saw one of them were unable to do something and in pain, they wouldn't let him go through that. We then had a time skip as Madara and Aisuna had to kill 2 of their own clan members. Reason being of them betraying the clan, as it was a lot of suffering and grief. As Aisuna cried, his eyes changed. Seeing his brother in so much pain, Madara wants to take it away, as his eyes also changed. As the both of them got the next level of the Sharingan, the Mangekyou. As we then had another time skip, it has been years since Hashirama and the others have seen Naruto. 3 to 4 years now. As Hashirama had a son, he named his son Nawaki. He was dreading about his son's safety because once his son was able to fully grasp everything, his father would want his son to fight as well, to learn how to start a fight. and he couldn't go through with that. Madara was working on the same thing as well, as he wanted for his father to die in the line of duty, as he wanted to take over the clan, but at the moment he was not yet ready to do that. But if his father should fall in battle, he should be the next seat of the clan head, and he could change all of this because that day it was still stuck in his mind when he had to slaughter his own clan's man. So yeah guys, that's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Madara blade clashed with Hashirama's. It was only Jutsu they were using, same as before and the time before that. The same song and dance, predictable moves that were starting to be cracked and noticed. Soon others will notice that every time Madara faced off against Hashirama, he and him just fight with Jutsu, and they weren't fighting to kill each other. And Madara did not know how to explain why he didn't try his best to kill the Senju brat, while the both of them just walk away with small injuries. And so Madara closed his eyes, stopped his Sharingan from seeing as he ducked under Hashirama's blade and ran his blade forward right into Hashirama's shoulder. As he pulled the blade back, as Hashirama's cry of pain could be heard. In the briefest of moment, Madara grabbed Hashirama's neck and yanked him, as he looked him directly in the eyes. "Sacrifice, Watashi no Yoshi," he said, as he then jumped back. "Why did you leave?" another Uchiha asked angrily. "You finally managed to wound the bastard." Madara did not say a word because Hashirama covered himself in a dome of wood. Tobirama then landed, as both him and Madara's eyes met. It was hard to say that the both of them were fighting for the same goal because of the look that Tobirama gave Madara with so much hate. Yet, there was understanding as well, as Tobirama knew what Madara had done. "Because I cannot deal with the other Senju brother as well," said Madara. "One is enough of a headache and those two work together flawlessly as a team." Time skip. Mito. As Mito turned, "Tobirama," she said. "I require your assistance in something," he said, as he did not meet her eyes with his own. Whatever he wanted shamed him to ask for it, perhaps even to have it at all. It's a jutsu that is based largely upon the sealing arts. Mito tilted her head confused. Why would the jutsu shame him? "Sealing?" she said. "Yes, if done right. All I will need is a marker placed on a surface area, and I will be able to focus my chakra in that area and teleport that area. I could be anywhere in an instant. It would really benefit the Senjus on the battlefield," he explained. His tone of a shinobi, it was utterly toneless. He was hiding something. When it came to Tobirama, the most telling thing about him, that there was nothing to tell. Right now she wondered if helping her brother-in-law was the right thing to do. She didn't know why. But she couldn't say no. What he wanted, it truly did sound like a powerful jutsu. And a powerful jutsu would only help. Then why would we be ashamed of that? "Alright, Tobi-kun," she said. "I will help you. At the very least, you should use it to keep Hashikun safe. However, a stealing jutsu of this caliber will take time. More time than you're estimating on, so you have to be patient as you work with me. And yes, you will be working with me. I won't help you otherwise. There's no point to this if you do not understand how your own jutsu work. That would likely end badly," she said. As she looked at him, hope whatever he was planning, he knew what he was doing, and he was ready to accept any kind of consequence that might come with it. Time skip. Madara scoffed as he faced the opponent. Not Senju, not Uchiha. They didn't stand a chance. "You Uchihas think that you're the greatest just because you have those Sharingan of yours. You don't know what it means to be a shinobi," the enemy ninja said. "Well, we aren't at the top of the clan wars for nothing," one of the Uchihas behind Madara said. "Just because you can see better, that doesn't mean you can fight better. Try copy this, you monsters. I'll get you all for what you did to my family." Madara was forced to leap back when he saw... Was that ice? Yes, it was a shard of ice and it was fast. As he wiped the blood from his cheek that he got from that sharp ice. "Whatever that brat did, I can't copy it," one of the two Uchihas said that was with Madara. "Bloodline then," the other one said. "I'll handle this," said Madara, as the two Uchihas went silent. Would Madara need to use his Mangekyo Sharingan for this? No, this ninja wasn't strong enough. He had raw power, but he wasn't skilled enough to use it in a way that would actually kill Madara. Even injuring Madara badly was a stretch. "So you can manipulate and create ice. But is it enough?" said Madara. "I guess we're just gonna have to find out," the older shinobi said, as he speed through hand sign for water jutsu. As he sprayed water from his mouth. Madara knew that the shinobi didn't add enough chakra for that to even affect him, so he wouldn't even move. But the man didn't smirk. "Your arrogance will be your downfall, Madara Uchiha." Madara tensed when ice sprang up from the puddle of water that he thought was useless. It was just the preparation of the ice jutsu. Still, this didn't change. He could still defeat the Ice Wielder. Let's see how much you can see when I can be anywhere I can before you can even see me move. The shinobi smirked as the walls of ice came around and surrounded Madara and himself as he started to step backwards. Madara was curious as he just watched as the shinobi stepped back in one of the ice mirrors, sinking inside as he looked like a reflection now. He had to tilt his body to avoid the Senbon needle that came from that mirror, so the shinobi could attack him, but he could not attack his enemy. That was smart, but he could run out of Senbons eventually, and then he would have to attack him. Madara could just wait then. He was patient. Another Senbon flew at him, followed by another barrage. They were simple enough to dodge though, and Madara wondered why was the shinobi acting so brave when these were completely useless against him. But then the man reflection moved to another mirror as he started to throw more Senbons. Madara scowled as some of them sink into his shoulder. He was going to have to get creative to dodge if the shinobi could be in any mirror that he desired. But then Madara felt something strange. The Senbon, it was cold. Almost cold as he tilted his head. It was ice. It was an ice Senbon. The shinobi wasn't going to run out of weapons because he was making them. As Madara realized it was time to attack, defensive wasn't working anymore. He has used the fireball jutsu so much time, he didn't even need to use hand signs. He took in a deep breath and released the massive flame. As the flame completely shattered the mirror, but the shinobi simply flickered over to another mirror. More Senbon flew at him, forcing Madara to duck away from the shattered mirror. It gave the Ice Wielder enough time to create another mirror, brand new. So as long as the mirror stayed intact, the Ice Shinobi felt that he could win. Madara smirked. Well, that will be change. As he drew his blade and dashed forward and strike it. He was surprised though. The mirror did not shatter the moment his blade touched it. So they were stronger than he thought. As Madara jumped back right into the center, his eyes flickering all around as he saw the shinobi flip from mirror to mirror. You will find that my mirrors aren't that easy to break, Madara Uchiha. You have yet to realize how trapped you are. We shall see about that. I broke one of them. I'll do it again, said Madara, as he fired off another fireball. But this time, the mirror didn't even melt, to his surprise. Had the shinobi strengthened the mirrors for some reason, or something? Well, it would make sense, seeing that Madara broke one of his fireball first. The shinobi probably strengthened them to the degree where they can't be broken so easily anymore. But still, Madara could just increase his jutsu, or use other jutsus, because since this battle started, he hasn't used his Sharingan yet. As he closed his eyes, snapping them back open, Madara activated Sharingan. In the split second the shinobi appeared in one of the other mirrors, Madara Tomo started spinning his eye and began jutsu strike. As the man fell out of his own mirror, crashing on the ground, as all the mirrors shattered, leaving nothing but water behind. As Madara walked over, as he leaned over the teen's head and he looked at him. I think I shall let you live, Ice Wielder. Your skill is interesting, however, you have yet to learn how to properly use it. Keep in mind though, if you ever face a Uchiha again, they will not extend the same courtesy. For that matter, a Senju might not either. There's a reason why we're on top of the clan wars. You will do well to keep your mouth shut in next battle you find yourself in. Well, at least have the very skill to back up your boasting, if you can. As Madara walked away, he wondered how far the Ice Wielder would get in these times of fighting. Had his family members he spoken of earlier had the same bloodline? Well, it wasn't impossible. But it did not matter though, every jutsu had its flaw, every jutsu had its weakness. As a Uchiha, it was his job to see them and exploit them. Why do you let him live? One of the Uchihas asked that accompany him. Because I have what I need and killing him served no purpose at all. Besides, if he grows strong enough, he could be an adequate test of my strength. But I doubt he will. He does not have the determination needed to defeat me. For all intents and purposes, he's more of a child than I am, said Madara. He won't be a threat to our clan. He simply doesn't have the vengeance, dedication to be one. I hope you're right, Madara, Uchiha said, a warning that if his words were untrue, Madara would be the one to take the blame. It wouldn't be the first time, and it probably won't be the last either. Time skip. Madara was now 19, and he hadn't seen Naruto for 4.5 years. Usually, if a shinobi hadn't been seen in half a year, that meant that they usually die or something. But Naruto was not that weak, was he? As it was, he was sitting next to Aizuna, with a group of Uchiha next to them. There were perhaps 10 of them, and they were sitting around a large fire, speaking amongst themselves. It was the day before a large mission. It was their task to eradicate a whole other clan, so that the Uchihas could have their land and their wealth. Oi, Madara-san, Have you heard the rumors? One Uchiha said as Madara looked over. He did not reply, but he raised the eyebrow, making the other Uchiha continue. About the shinobi that is moving so fast that all people see of him is a yellow blur. Yes, and that his king jutsu prowess is unmatched. And that his ninjutsu is so powerful, it is able to change the entire landscape around him with just one blow. Yes, I've heard of him. The shinobi they speak of is Naruto Uzumaki, said Madara. Yet, I have not met him in battle. Wait, you mean that Uzumaki, that is so pathetic, that he nearly killed his own comrades when he went berserk? One Uchiha scoffed. Yes, that very one. He's also the one that stopped the clan fight between the Senjus and the Uchihas. The unknown shinobi who wore a cloak and challenged the clan heads themselves, said Aisuna. Well, if he's so powerful, why isn't he fighting with the Senjus? He used to, didn't he? It's very hard to miss a blonde Uzumaki. Madara and Aisuna did not reply, because it was a good question. One that they did not have an answer to. Time skip, they've been fighting for days. Hashirama has been on the battlefield for days now and even he was running out of chakra. He didn't even know what they were fighting for this time. He was 19 and yet he still felt like a child. Didn't his father think that he was ready to know everything? When he asked, he was told the same as always. Absolutely nothing. He'd been angry that day as well. Batsuma and Hashirama has been fighting a lot lately. Nowaki was 2 now, and Hashirama could not keep his father away any longer. It didn't help that Nowaki was intelligent for his age, and also had his mother high reserves of chakra. At this point, Hashirama wished that Nowaki had the Uzumaki bloodline, so his son can go back to the Uzumaki clan. He will be safer there. Yet at the same time, he could not let his son go. How did his father do this, not just once, but 4 times? So when he was told of the fighting, he was a bit happy because he could vent his frustration on something. Their opponent wasn't Uchihas this time, as Madara wasn't here, so he was the strongest on the field. But now his anger had long since passed, leaving the same sense of regret, of deep exhaustion now. He just wanted all to end. He wanted Konoha. The call for the retreat came. It was only a temporary one, a slight unspoken truce from each clan, when at the end of the day the both of them retreated, and they kept the peace during the night. So far, such an agreement has only been broken once, and it didn't end good for either party. Hashirama was exhausted, but he knew that he wouldn't be getting any sleep tonight. Hashirama-san. He snapped his head around. You must come quickly. It's your brother. His face turned pale instantly as his eyes went wide. He started to run, following behind the other shinobi as fast as he could, despite being exhausted. Toby, as he burst into the tent where the infirmary was. Hashirama-san, one of the fallen shinobi looked. As she looked towards Hashirama's, relief was in her eyes as she was right beside Tobirama. Not many female became ninja, but some did. They became a medic ninja on the field to help. And Hashirama had more experience than anyone in this tent. With medical ninjutsu, he could help his brother. As he rushed over, his brother was lying down, as he was biting his lip to try not to scream. Blood. There was so much blood. What happened? Said Hashirama. From what we can gather, he attempted a jutsu that didn't end well. He got damage from the jutsu and the enemy that took advantage of him. It wasn't ready. Micho-chan told me it wasn't ready, but I did not listen. I was desperate. I needed that jutsu, brother, said Tobirama. Don't talk right now. You need your strength. As Hashirama spread his hands over his younger brother's chest, the armor had already been removed. Don't. I can sense your chakra, brother. You're too tired for this, Tobirama whispered. Don't you ever tell me not to try and save your life, you idiot. Hashirama said, reaching his eyes, as Tobirama went quiet. There were very few times that Hashirama acted like the older brother he was, and this was one of those times. In those times, Tobirama knew that he could not argue. But Tobirama was right. He didn't have the chakra needed. For one thing, the chakra need to heal his brother had to be intense and concentrated. More than he had right now. But he had to try, he couldn't give up. This was Tobirama, he could not stop now. As he started to feel the extent of the damage after the green chakra spread out, it was like some of his brother's organs shifted. What kind of a jutsu had he been trying? And there was a large damage done to him by the enemy's sword that was seemingly on fire to do more damage to the opponent. As he could feel his brother chakra slipping, as his brother's body was struggling to function. He felt that Shinobi died before, but he never imagined that he felt it from his brother. Don't you dare give up on me, Tobirama. I still need you. What about Konoha? You have to help me. I'm so sorry, brother, said Tobirama. No, Hashirama screamed, as he needed to increase the chakra that he already was using. But he was already giving it all that he had, and he was about to run out. Toby, no, Don't leave me, he said. As Tobirama chakra slipped a bit more. Tobi, don't go, he said. As the green chakra started to fade, he was running low, he couldn't maintain it. As he saw acceptance in his brother's eyes. Only a shinobi who acknowledged the situation, knowing that they were going to die, had that look. He never seen it on one of his comrades' faces before, and they live. No, I was powerless to help our brothers, but I am not powerless now. I am Senju Hashirama, and the founder of Konoha, and I will not stand at the head of the Senju clan alone. You will live. Hashirama needed chakra, and so did his brother. There was chakra all around them in everything. Senjutsu. He already knew how to focus Senjutsu because his would release, and now he was going to mix it with his healing chakra. Senjutsu was life, and he had to save his brothers. As he focused undilated Senjutsu into his body. As it flowed through, it wasn't green anymore, it was white. Tobirama's eyes snapped open, and he then started to burn as he started to cry in pain. Hold him down. He ordered to those that were watching at this point. It hurt because it sped up the healing process 100-fold. Tobirama's cells had to be rearranged to what the jutsu that he did broken. You will live, Tobirama. You don't get to die and leave me here. As long as I'm alive, you don't get to die. As Tobirama gave his brother a small smile before he fell unconscious because of the pain. But Hashirama refused to stop until his brother was in perfect condition. He would not let him die no matter what. Time skip. 3 days later in the Senju compound, Tobirama woke up in his room. As he sat up carefully, what did his brother use to heal him? It felt so different, something more. As he got to his feet, he felt fine. No, he felt amazing, better than what he had in ages. Walking towards the door, he sensed the guard outside. Where's my brother? He said, opening the door. Tobirama-san. He was greeted with a bow. Hashirama-sama is resting. He lost consciousness after healing their wounds, and he has yet to awaken. The mission was a success. Batsuma-sama arrived to take over. After hearing about Hashirama-sama condition. Wait, Hashirama-sama? Yes, said the guard. I'm afraid that Batsuma did not return from battle. So his father had died, and he wasn't in the hands of the Uchiha. Tobirama closed his eyes. The jutsu he asked Mito to help him with, it meant nothing now. Its only purpose was so that he could kill his own father without anyone catching him. A jutsu that can teleport him anywhere where he placed a marker, which meant he could place a marker on his father, and disappear to another set of marker. For all the other Senju knew, he wouldn't even be in the village when his father was killed. But the jutsu hadn't been ready yet. But he could still see a benefit for that jutsu on the battlefield. However, it would appear that he wouldn't have to kill his father after all. Nowaki would be safe now. Hashirama's happiness would be safe. As tears started leaking from his eyes, he didn't know if it was from no longer being thinking about killing his father, or was that his father was dead. Still, he wiped away those tears and continued to make his way to see his brother, that was also the new clan head now. Time skip. Madara-sama. Madara paused at the entrance of the compound as he just returned from mission. What has happened in my absence, he asked. This Uchiha just called him Sama, and Uchihas did not make that mistake. Your father has fallen in battle. I see. Has my brother been informed? No. He has yet to return from his mission. I see. Was the battle one with Senjus? No. The mission was a routine mission that went bad. What was my father doing on a routine mission? And how did someone manage to kill the clan head on a routine mission that went bad? Madara said, looking towards the Uchiha. It is unknown. None of the Uchihas managed to survive though, but their eyes were intact. None of them were taken. Madara looked away confused. Something wasn't right there. But he had more important things to go through, such as the clan affairs. He was now their leader. Inform me at once when my brother returns, he said. As he walked off into the compound, something was right, but he would deal with that later. Time skip. On the cliff that would later become the Hokage's monument was Naruto. From there, he could make out the Senju and Uchiha compounds. It was almost time to bring the clan together. But he had to wait. Hashirama and Madara was the newly appointed clan heads, but they needed time to build trust. The clan had to follow them to Konoha, and for that they needed to trust their clan heads. So time was needed. As Naruto wondered if anyone would ever figure out that he was the one who killed the clan head of the Uchiha and the clan head of the Senju. He doubted that though. A hench did great, and also, a seal hench was even more better. He learned a lot in the 5 years he'd been in this world, and he's been watching over his precious people for the 4.5 years they had not seen him. He's seen Noaki's birth, and Madara and Aisna Mangita Sharingan activation. He even seen the beginnings of the Flying Thunder God technique. That one was painful to see, knowing that his father agreed his technique wasn't his to start with. However, that didn't damper his father's brilliance. After all, there was still the Rasengan and seal that contained the Kyuubi inside of him. He was 21 years old now, and he was almost ready to build Konoha. Naruto smirked to himself. He was different, but he liked to think that he was still the same. His ninja way was still the same though. But he lost that naive goal that he had back then, the naive attitude, because of his war time. As he was wearing the black and red clothing from his sighted pain and his orange armor, the armor has been adjusted, sleeker and lighter. It helped him to move a lot faster. "Now you can begin your search for the others," said Kurama. "Yes," said Naruto. "Know that I find a way to keep the tail beasts from human hands. I can begin. When I return, I will become the Uzumaki clan head, and in doing so, bring the 3 clans together to build Konoha. I just hope those 4 don't go and do something stupid while I'm gone. They are the legends you grew up listening about. Therefore, they will survive," said Kurama. "Now let us leave. I grow impatient." Soon, all too soon, Konoha will be built. As Naruto made his way back to the compound, the Uzumakis did not treat him any differently from the way they did before, but there was some pity in their eyes. As masters of steel themselves, they knew that the monster was different from Naruto, and he was not him. But still, they had pity in their eyes most of the time about him, feeling sorry for him. And he didn't like that, because he didn't really know how to deal with that. He wasn't any different from Naruto that they knew before they found out he was a Jinchuriki. Did they perhaps wonder what kind of appearance he had? Naruto loved his parents regardless of their decision to seal the Kyuubi within him. Did the Uzumakis think any less of his parents? He didn't know. A lot had happened in the past 4 years while he was here. Flashback. Try harder, Naruto. Naruto panted as he rested on his hands and knees. He'd been trying for 4 weeks now, and he was pretty sure there wasn't much harder he could try. He tried with clones at first, but that only made it worse. Trying to control his bloodline was nearly impossible. All he managed to do so far was to bend the metal he was given. It was like the leaf exercise all over again, but this was worse. It was taking a lot longer with little to no progress. He was starting to think that maybe he didn't have the bloodline after all. There was also a barrier around him, meant to keep the Kyuubi from harming the clan, just in case. It was like Yamato. Yes, when he was doing his training, Yamato was there. But it felt sometime bad to him when he thought about it. It was like he was being caged up like some wild animal. But he knew that he couldn't afford not to be. Naruto grimaced as he turned towards the current blacksmith, the master of the bloodline. "What is the origin of our bloodline?" he asked. Perhaps if he understands how the bloodline works, just like how he explained Hashirama, Mokidan to the Senju. Yes, maybe he can know how it works and understand it. "Well, isn't that an interesting question?" the blacksmith said. "I do not know. It was never something I was interested in, and I never think to ask my sensei. He wasn't a patient man, and he wouldn't have told me the answer," the blacksmith said. "However, is this something that you wish to know?" he asked. "Maybe if I could understand what I'm doing, I could actually do it," said Naruto, as he shifted his weight. "I see. Then you should look through the archive. It is surely stored in there somewhere." "You have 1 week to find your answer, Naruto-kun. I cannot give you any more time, the Honorable One. We're serious about you mastering your bloodline." "I understand," said Naruto. "As the barrier was dropped, then you might start now." As Naruto nodded, he went off. As he created 100 clones, he had to find these quickly. Going through the scrolls there, Naruto found a lot of interesting things, as there was a section of sealing things into human beings. It was a theory. Well, it wasn't anymore, because he was living proof. There were things in there that he could even make heads or tail about. As Naruto noticed that Takashi's signature was on many of the scrolls, and he felt guilty, thus he meant. As he stopped what he was doing for a moment, so he could talk to the fox. "Have you come up with a way to keep your promise, brat?" Kurama said. "Not yet," said Naruto. "I am currently reading through the Uzumaki archives, but I found something I want to ask you about." "What is it?" said Kurama. "Well, I found the Uzumaki theories on something contract, and how it went along, because the Uzumaki saw a summon enter a world, and he spoke to it. They didn't say what summon it was, but they did see when it returned to its world, with some of the hand signs and still an array. Of course I already know what the hand signs are, but that's not the point. Someone else started to research it, but they didn't take it seriously. A few more tried again, but I didn't think they'd try very seriously. Anyway, all of the information kind of exploded together, and they looked like they were getting somewhere." "What's your point?" said Kurama. "The person who was doing it," said Naruto. "It was Takashi." "Well, now is a really funny time to be worried about the consequences of your actions. It's a bit too late to think about the space-time continuum and the timeline, because of all your meddling with the time. But what if Takashi actually exceeded? What if he was the first one to open the portal to the summoning world and created bonds between summon and humans? What if I mess all that up near to ask? Kurama went silent for a moment, as he seemed to be thinking about this as well. As Naruto's heart was pounding, waiting for the fox to give him an answer, something he needed to know. It is simple, Brett, said Kurama. You must simply take the place of the one that you caused to fall. You must do all that Uzumaki Takashi has done in his life. Simple? How could that be simple? How could he know all the things that Takashi had accomplished? Damn it, you should have paid more attention in history class. And do not forget your promise to me, human. I know, said Naruto. He had to start somewhere, so might as well start with the summoning contract. So a large portion of Naruto clones went to finish Takashi research on summoning contract. It was a simple matter for him to go to the Toads, but they did not know him there. So he was going to finish it in Takashi's words. After all, he wanted Takashi to get the credit for this. He wanted to appear like Takashi had finished his work before he died and never show anyone. The rest of the clones started to go about the Uzumaki bloodline, or anything that would help Naruto to achieve his promise that he made Kurama. He did find a lot of interesting theories that would help him when Konoha was built. A few interesting things that need to be built when the time came to incorporate it in Konoha. As Naruto realized he would become a shinobi that no one will ever be able to surpass. He was Naruto Uzumaki, a shinobi that came from a different time. He was a Jinchuriki, and he was planning on erasing the meaning of that word, so there would be no more Jinchurikis. And also, he was a Uzumaki with a long lifespan, and not to mention he's been using clones the entire time to train. As Kakashi told him, using the Shadow Clone Jutsu the way he did gave him an advantage that no one had, and now he had the time. A lot of time. Time skip. The Uzumaki bloodline was based on 3 elements. Water for life, earth for strength, and wind for flexibility. That was easy enough to understand. Yang Chakra worked together with water in one hand to give the metal life. Naruto had a lot of Yang Chakra, probably too much. The single scroll that he found in the Uzumaki bloodline stated that it formed with the earth chakra, then the water, then wind to be added last. Some Uzumaki split this up naturally, however. But Naruto was having a real difficult time. Probably because he was a Jinchuriki. Yes, that probably was it. Time skip. You're still holding out hope that you'd return, won't you? As Naruto was sitting there, as Uzumaki's came aboard the theory, Naruto's been working his chakra control for a couple of months now, as he got it perfectly down. He was able to control his chakra perfectly as any other medic ninjas. The only thing he could not control was his Uzumaki bloodline, or Kurama's chakra. But he was able to manifest his bloodline in some parts if he really intensely focused. But that was not what the clan had desired, as it had to be like an extension of his own body to use at will. So, thinking about Naruto's past, they thought if it was probably psychological damage, so they brought him to a place where a seal, as it made him cleanse his body and his soul. As Naruto was currently inside of a seal, where he found himself in the old Konoha before Orochimaru attacked. The place was deserted, the streets were... no one was there at all. And he found himself there, and he realized he was utterly alone, by himself, without anyone, any friends. No one was there. And then he met this thing. The thing that was walking towards him, it looked like him. Every shape and every size. But the only thing different about this thing was his eyes. His eyes were completely different. They were the eyes of the villagers that looked down upon him every time he ran past, with paintbrush and paint bucket in hand, painting the Hokage's monument. They were so cruel. Those wicked eyes. The thing didn't stop. As it looked towards the left, a smile came on his lips, but it did not reach his eyes. His eyes still looked cruel and cold. Ramen, he said. It has been a while, hasn't it? Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto didn't even need to look to know it was there. He knew Konoha like he knew his entire body. But he wanted to know what this thing was. Would it attack him? They did not tell you everything, did they? And to think you already read so much about the clan. Could it be that you read this ritual already, but you fill your mind with so many others that you didn't even notice? Tell me what, Naruto asked, as he was being cautious. What you would find in here, the thing says, he waved his hand around. That you will face all the consequences. I don't suppose you'll be up to enlightening me, said Naruto. Well, they must be desperate if they resorted to this. So I suppose I can tell you a bit of something. You see, there's a balance to everything. A yin and a yang. I am your yin as you are my yang. You and I are one and the same. You and I are nothing alike, said Naruto. It doesn't work like that. We're not supposed to be alike in all aspects. We just have different focuses in life. Tell me, what makes you so afraid of me? The moment you saw me, you went on your guard. Why are you afraid of me? Why are you afraid of yourself? Are you in pain, Naruto? Tell me the truth. I don't understand, said Naruto. Yes, and that is half of the problem. Oh dear, look at me getting off topic here. Those Uzumakis are sure of trusting of you though. Clan here. Soon to be, and they don't even know you. They don't even know what you're capable of. But I know. Orochimaru knows as well. Heck, even Jiraiya know. Stop, said Naruto. What? Can't you face the truth? As he took a step towards him, I am you. I am that rage, that anger you feel. I am that pain. When the village reject you countless of times, you always try to bury me deep. But I was always there. I am every bad thought, every negative emotion you ever had. And I'm not about to just go away like that. As he took another step towards him, the Uzumakis did not tell you, did they? That there's a chance that you wouldn't be waking up when the ritual is over. They didn't tell you unless you can beat me. I'll be the one to be waking up. As Naruto clenched his fist, I can beat you. I am stronger than you, obviously. Because I'm the one that is in front. I am the one that the world sees. As it appeared in front of him, quickly. But don't you know, darkness is always in the shadows. As Naruto struck out at it, but it met every single punch and blow that he fired back with every single attack. It was like a perfect copy of him. As the both of them jumped away. It's impossible to beat me. Just give up, it laughed. It's all in my head, said Naruto, it's all in my head. But he just wouldn't leave this place. As he dashed forward again, as they exchanged blow, it felt like a normal fight that he was having. It felt real. He was running out of options and he didn't know what to do. You're not me, because if you were me, you would know that I never give up, especially when it comes to my comrades and friends. Oh, is that so? As it smirked. What about Kakashi then? What about Team 7? You gave up on everything rather quickly. You just accepted that there was no way back. Hell, you didn't even try to help Kakashi. That's not true, Naruto said. So I'm right. You really think you're gonna go back there? As Naruto was confused, why did he kept on going back to that? You haven't come to terms that you're stuck here. That you will never, ever see any of your precious people again. Bachan, any of them. You will stay here, Naruto, because you're stuck here. You need to accept that. What do you think was going to happen? That you were going to build Konoha and then hop back to your time? It's not even that simple. Building and creating an entire village of shinobi between two rival clans that have been warring for years upon years now. Do you think it would be easy? And you can't go back there because time won't be the same. And you definitely won't be the same. What? What do you want from me? Said Naruto. If I can't believe that I'm going to see them all again, then what am I supposed to believe in? Tell me. Uzumaki's lived for a long time. It is possible. You're a Jinchuriki. You're already going to die way before your time. Tsunade told you that. Naruto's hands dropped to his side. For the first time he looked away. His dark self told him the truth. He was right. Yes, darkness was always in the shadows. And the darkness was right. He was still thinking that he would return back to his time and everything would be okay. But that was impossible. Perhaps there was a part of him that think if he learned a lot about seals, then he could build Konoha and he could go back to his present. Was that what he wanted? But can that even be done? Hey, do you want to know something? What is it? Said Naruto. As he didn't want to listen to him, but was this other half telling the truth? Because since he's been here, he's been telling the truth. There are two reasons why you can't control your bloodline. Even if you made peace with Kurama, and you managed to control his rage, you still wouldn't be able to control your bloodline. It's because of you. You have not found peace in yourself yet. As Naruto blinked once, those words, he knew them from somewhere. Had he read it before? Where have he heard that? You know, one of us is going to be stuck here after this, while the other go back out there. And I'm tired of staying here. I've been waiting for an opportunity to come on top, and know that I have it. I will not lose, the other said. But, not yet. I want to ask you about the still desire of yours. That one where you want to go back to the elemental nation. Back to your time. Tell me, why would you want to go there? Why the hell not, said Naruto. Well, for one thing, you might have been the village hero in the end, but it was for a short amount of time. Think about it. Was they nice before? No, they weren't. And yet, they just started to be nice to you. As the other became colder, His smile started to stretch even more. Just think about your life. What did you have to do to gain that respect? To gain that love from them? You know what you had to do. Nearly getting yourself killed over and over again. And you felt it. Because I did. They disgusted you for what they did. After all, for most of our life, we were nothing to them but a vile, insignificant child with a beast inside of him. We, who they treated no better than garbage. What did we ever do to receive such treatment, tell me? Let me tell you then. We were born. And then that was it. Don't bother trying to hide it. Because you can't hide anything from me. Remember, I'm the real you that you hide in your heart. All of the pain, all of the suffering that you feel. So don't even try to deny any of it. I have to admit though, there's one difference between me and you. The Kyuubi actually like me. Its hatred feeds yours, which in turn made me stronger. I am the combination of your darkest will and his. And I can control our bloodline, because unlike you, I'm not denying myself. And I know what I truly feel. So you have the power of the Kyuubi on your side, Naruto stated. While you vow never to rely on Kurama's power, he's quite generous, you know. And you never appreciate it. You never appreciate all that he did for you. All that he's given you. In a sense, it seems like I'm the real one, and you're the fake. That stupid smile of mask that you hide behind. And that stupid happy-going attitude. I don't hide behind it. Because I am the real one. I know all that I feel. And I don't hide behind my stupid, idiotic self like you. Right back then, you had the means to bring back Sasuke to the village. But you choose to listen to other idiotic, self-condoning voices other than giving in to the Kyuubi. Yes, you could have gotten the power. Sasuke would have been nothing to you and you could have easily brought him back. Shut the hell up, said Naruto, I'm not the fake. And don't you dare talk about Sasuke. You don't have the right to talk about him. The other started to laugh as he threw his head back. You really still don't get it, do you? No wonder everyone thought that we were stupid. That you would never accomplish anything. If you keep on bearing every one of your emotion that you feel. Doesn't that make you a liar? It's like you're lying to everyone that you meet. You should just give in. Save us a fight. Let me be in front because I am the true Uzumaki Naruto. I do not lie. You're not going to taunt me to submission, said Naruto. I am Uzumaki Naruto and never give up. You should know that better than everyone, so stop trying to meet me. The other tilted his head to the side. He blinked away once again and appeared in front of Naruto. You still doubt the Uzumaki clan acceptance of you, don't you? You're still waiting for them to turn and reject you in some way, to treat you like those in Konoha did. It's why you didn't tell them you're Jinjulke. It's why you tried to get it so under control. You weren't trying for the clan head position. No, it wasn't that, was it? You were trying to make them not hate you. However, there's one thing you haven't done yet. Takashi. He has a family. One that you have been avoiding. Naruto stumbled backwards. Takashi's family, yes. Naruto knew of them. He seen them at the funeral as he kept his distance as he watched Takashi's son place a flower on his father's grave. He saw a single tear slip down his white cheek. As everything started to come rushing back to Naruto. That night he had cried, trying to hold himself together as the guilt of what he'd done lose his mind out there came back full force. Then he was dragged over to the blacksmith for his training, and he used it as an excuse to push everything away and just focus on his training. Yet he seen her that night. Takashi's wife before the ritual started, but he didn't talk to her, he didn't go anywhere near her. He couldn't even meet her gaze. Because it was his fault. He'd been too young, too stupid, too idiotic to realize that you had to make sacrifices. No shinobi can go through life without killing. Without not killing a single soul. He had the power. He could have crushed all of those Uchis on the battlefield. But no. Takashi died because of his stupidness. It was his fault. He knew that Uzumakis were different. They didn't blame him. But none of them knew what he was truly capable of. They didn't know how much stronger he was. And Takashi's family were Uzumakis through and through as well. But he felt like they hate him. He just couldn't get rid of that idea out of his mind. As Naruto was backing away, he knew that he couldn't fight the other, yes. Because the both of them were equally matched, no matter how strong he was. The both of them were on the same strength level, no matter what he did. So fighting him would not work. As his mind started to race, he remembered now, he read about this ritual. A ritual that was supposed to bring about peace. A true calm in oneself. Something of a neutral balance. This was the ultimate test of his character. but it never always worked. Not everyone is strong enough to resist the pressure. You can't beat me. So in that regard, let's get to it, shall we? Said the other. As he rushed towards Naruto. I can't beat you by force. He stopped hearing those words. I don't have the advantage over you, and you don't have the advantage over me either. There is a real chance if I give in to the Kyuubi and get angry, the frustration, the rage, I will only be feeding you. You can't get rid of me, the other said, looking more angry now. I'm here to stay. You won't get rid of me no matter what. Well then, said Naruto as he smiled. You should already know what I'm thinking. And I think that you're the one denying the truth this time. What are you saying? The other scowled in anger. Don't act like you don't know, said Naruto. I realize now. I have to let go of my past if I want to move forward. I'm not saying that I should forget about where I came from. I mean I should accept the fact that I won't be going back. And like you said, even if I do, it won't be the same. I won't be the same. So I'm going to stop hoping for that outcome and focus all my attention on here and the now. I need to let go of the past and find peace within myself. It won't last, the other yelled. You will mess up eventually and everyone will treat you the same way as in Konoha. They're just being nice to you because they're useful at the moment. You're a pawn for them to use and they're just scared of you. As the other gripped at his jacket, it was so hard. It was so painful. If you trust them again, you're going to feel that same pain. Why would you trust them? Only me, I'm the only one that will ever understand your pain. I'm the only one that will be ever to understand what you go through. Yeah, trust is important, said Naruto looking down. I'm the clan here. And it is important that my followers trust me, and I trust them. However, there is someone else I need to trust completely before I move forward. I need to trust myself and believe in myself. I need to trust the me the others believe in. As the other stepped back, as a realization came on his face. Do you consider me a burden? He asked. Just what am I to you? The other asked. Because you exist, I am stronger. I got my strength from your pain and anger. It was all thanks to you I was able to make it this far. Then what the hell am I supposed to do now? The other said as he raised his fist, as he rushed forward in rage. It's simple, said Naruto. We become one, as he grabbed him in a hug. Since you are me, thank you for everything. But don't worry, everything's gonna be fine, okay? The other just stood there, as his eyes returned back to normal. As he started to fade away, with a small smile on his face. As Naruto opened his eyes, as he looked around, as he saw that Uzumaki's there, as he was still in the center of the ceiling array. Next time, can we just try a therapy session with the Yamanaka? He asked, as he chuckled as he got to his feet. But that was the wrong thing to do. As his body started to sway, he didn't realize how exhausted he was. As he collapsed down, the last thing he saw was green eyes. Green eyes that reminded him of Sakura, but these were much more prettier. As he fell unconscious. Time skip. As Naruto woke up, as he blinked slowly, as he had no idea where he was. The color and decor around him told him that he was still within the Uzumaki compound, but that was all he could produce at the moment. Oh, you're awake. That demon in you does influence your healing factor. Even for Uzumaki, it's quite impressive. As Naruto shifted to see those same green eyes. Forgive my disrespect, Naruto-sama. Sama, a suffix they add to his name because of him being the clan head. But he felt like it was unnecessary. There was no disrespect, Asuna-san, said Naruto. Uzumaki Asuna, the wife of Takashi. In fact, it is I who must act for your forgiveness. Her eyes focused on him even more as he shifted on the bed. When Takashi, he trailed off. As he spoke once again, I was right there. Fingers placed on his lips, surprising him. She quickly removed her hand though. Like, his face was lava, as she looked a bit embarrassed for touching him. Her cheeks reddened for just a bit of embarrassment. But she spoke. I understand. I am amongst the most disputed censors in the clan. I feel your emotions, your own, sense your strength. And I understand, Asuna said. At first, I could not find it within myself to forgive you. I thought that you were the one that should have died, and Takashi had given up far too much for your sake. He had a family after all, and you were a stranger to the clan and the clan ways. Naruto-sama, I have never met you in person. I have never seen you. I only have the stories from others and Takashi to go on. It was hardly then meeting the real person. You were the shining beacon to Takashi, one of a glorious new hope that I never really understood. Because to me, you were the mysterious boy that showed up out of nowhere and took my husband from me. When Takashi was out, he spoke of you. When he was here, he spoke of you, of your achievements and your strengths. The silly things that you say are the weird things that you might do. I am ashamed to admit that I grew to hate you. But I grew to love you as well. It was hard not to, the way he spoke of you. The way his eyes would light up. Speaking of your funny encounters, you were a symbol of hope for him. He thought that you could move mountains if you set your mind to it. I found myself waiting for Takashi's return, so he could speak more of you. Just as I wish that he would not say another word of you, so he could be mine once more. It was a time in my life when I was far too confused. So much so my sensuality became compromised and I had to stay home. But that gave me more time with my son, Tanaka. But when they came home with the news of Takashi's passing and your involvement within it, all my love for you exploded into rage of irrational misunderstanding. I did not understand how it was possible for that situation to come to. You, who had been so powerful, had needed the help of my husband, my precious one true love, and that help had resulted into his death. The love she was speaking of first, that Takashi had for Naruto, and that she had for Naruto was a idolized love. And the one that Takashi had for Naruto was like a kinship of best friends, or even a teacher and student. But the one that she was speaking about now between her and Takashi, as Naruto could feel every emotion from her, was real, passionate love. She loved Takashi with a passion that Naruto never had for anyone else. He claimed that he loved soccer back in the days, but this was a love that he never felt before, as it made his heart felt pain just feeling it from her. I was inconsolable, and I was unable to express my rage. It would be seen as traitorous because you were the kind here, and all I wanted was your death. In my rage, I wanted my husband back. I wanted you to be the one that was buried. But then I saw you at the funeral. I felt your pain, your guilt. In a single moment I felt it. Everything that you tried to hide from the world. How much you have felt before. Loneliness, agony, suffering. I felt that golden light that made you everything that Takashi had fallen in love with. And in that moment, I forgave you. I felt like I had to make it up to you after feeling all of that. So it was my idea to perform the ritual. After feeling that warmth from you as well, I was sure that you'd pass the test. I was certain that you'd benefit from it. But we had to wait until you finished your training in the blacksmith. At that moment, Naruto spoke. I always thought that you hated me, he said. I was too cowardly to apologize. Too afraid. Too afraid to face you after what happened. As she hugged him, she was crying. It's alright, Naruto-sama. It's alright, she said. Tears started to fall down his cheeks as well, as he held her close as they cried. Later, when she calmed down, she excused herself, so she could straighten her appearance. She had looked around her, before blushing in embarrassment, as Naruto wondered when he noticed this was her room. As he couldn't stop her, she was already at the door, but his eyes didn't notice something. As he looked over towards the scrolls, she stopped as she turned. Those are the project that Takashi was working on in his spare time, she said. I had found one of his incomplete ones in the archive, and I wanted to finish it before anyone had noticed to give him the credit, said Naruto. But I always felt there was something missing from his notes. Maybe it's here. Well, all of those notes are locked until he feels he finished with them. If you can open the scrolls, you can take them, she said. I don't have any use for them anymore, and they become nothing but sad reminders. As she then turned and left the room. As he hung his head down, he knew that he couldn't avoid Takashi forever, the situation, and he also have to do the things that Takashi would do in his lifetime. After all, the man did risk his life to save his. He sealed away all the scrolls, leaving them for later examination. He wasn't exactly sure how he was going to help Takashi's family, but his mind wouldn't rest if he did not. Asuna outburst was quick for Uzumaki. Yes, that was a regular outburst. They always burn a pot before they calm back down. As Naruto got to his feet, yes, he could walk. As he left the small room, only to see a tiny person disappear behind the door. Tanaka. Naruto raised his hand to knock, but he stopped himself. He would go to the boy a little later, perhaps. He could train the boy in sealing. If his abilities were like his father, he would be brilliant. As he went to the kitchen, cooking calmed him, as he was going to cook for the small family. Without his interference, he was thinking, who knew what Takashi would have accomplished? Who knew what his family would have become? He shook his head of those thoughts. He couldn't think about them now because he could not change the past. Know that he had a new sense of peace within himself. He can do more and stop whining all the time like Rama said. Yes, he will achieve and do more. His body moved through the motions of cooking pancakes while he was thinking. As he remembered Takashi saying that his families enjoy them. He might be wrong, might be getting some of the details wrong, but it was worth a shot. He hummed softly to himself as he found blueberry, as he found the butter, and some honey. As he was so deep in his thought, as he was humming to himself, getting everything, as he got the knives and fork, as a voice in spoke, "You don't eat pancake using fork and knife." As Naruto turned, he didn't want to say the boy managed to sneak up on him, but he hid the surprise in his face well though. As he saw Tanaka, as he gave him a warm smile, "It's knife and fork, not fork and knife," Naruto said automatically. As you remember, Mito, and also the third Hokage, correcting his behavior many times. "And by the way, how else do you eat them?" Naruto asked. "Well," said Tanaka, "you roll them up, and then eat them. Daddy showed me how," he said, as Naruto could feel the sadness inside the boy, as he wanted to hug the child, but he couldn't do that. It was not his place to just barge in like that. But still, he could at least talk to him and get his mind off certain things. "Well then, what about the blueberries?" Naruto asked. "You're supposed to put them in the pancake mixer when you're making it," said Tanaka. "I see," said Naruto. "Then perhaps next time you should come and show me the errors of my way." But the boy got serious. "There's nothing left to be correct. I told you your errors and how they should be fixed." Then he walked away as he went into his bedroom. As Naruto wondered where he went wrong, as Asuna didn't appear. "Don't take it personal, Naruto-sama. Please, just call me Naruto," he said. She either acknowledged his statement or ignored because she continued. "He is upset about his father because pancakes is something they usually make together. But I'm glad though," she said, "that he spoke to you at all. He's been far too quiet lately." As Naruto looked over, he owed the boy that much and so much more, so he wasn't going to give up. Time skip. Naruto placed the paintbrush aside as he held up the note. "Perfect," he said. "Really?" Naruto turned to Asuna as she walked through the door. Her eyes flickered through the paintbrush with a disappointing frown, but it was only there for a moment. "Yeah," said Naruto with a large grin. She giggled. She placed the plate down. "It only took you 7 months," he said. "Well, it took me long to decipher the seals, read his notes and complete them," said Naruto. "I'm almost done. All I have to do now is to get the toads to sign the contract." "How do you know it's going to be toads?" "It could be eagles," a smaller voice said as Naruto looked down, as Tanaka was sitting right in front of him. It took 2 months as Tanaka warmed up to Naruto. And once they did, he wasn't letting Naruto go. "Well, it could be applied to any summon," said Naruto. "I just like toads. They're awesome." "Have you ever met a toad?" Tanaka asked. "Plenty," said Naruto. "They're fierce in battle," said Naruto. "Huh? I never even seen a fighting toad." "Well, you should hope not. You're not going anywhere near the battlefield until you're 60, said Asuna, as she ruffled her son here. "How are you going to get to the toads?" she said, ignoring her son's protest for the moment. Naruto sighed before leaning back. In the several months since the ritual, he and Takashi family has moved in together. There were 4 bedrooms in the house. 1 for Tanaka, 1 for Asuna, 1 for Naruto, and 1 for all of Naruto works. The house also has a dojo, one where Naruto trained Tanaka, and he also had a weapon room. In that room, Naruto practiced his blacksmith abilities. He never was able to fully master it, not to the extent that the old man wanted. He made swords instead. Each sword took hours, but his swords were well defined and they also had seals engraved in them, using his chakra to do so. That in itself was pure brilliance. Currently, he was still experimented, so no one could wield his sword besides him, because he was embedded the seal in the swords, not after it was finished inside of them. The backyard had a taijutsu course. He designed and built it himself. The main function was to keep him in shape since he wasn't allowed in the battlefield, as Tanaka always sit on the porch watching Naruto while his mother taught him teaching and sensing. As he turned to answer her question, there are notes in the archives where a ninja can go to gain a powerful fighting companion, said Naruto. As she knew what that meant, so that meant he had to leave immediately. Naruto, as Naruto looked down into Takashi's eyes, as he wondered if Asuna was seeing the same thing as well. Tanaka looked more and more like his father every day. It was an agony as much as it was a blessing. Who taught the animals how to use chakra? I mean, the sage of 6 paths taught the humans, but who taught the animals? Well, I believe they taught themselves, said Naruto, as he thought about the ostrich that he chased in his youth. It's like how we see a bird and wish to fly. Maybe they see a ninja and wish to be incredibly awesome, said Naruto. Tanaka looked over at Naruto. You're so weird, he said, as Asuna started to laugh. But guys, be end episode right here. If once the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. And also, guys, stay in tune and relax and enjoy. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Please?